All right, welcome back everybody to Empyrean Galactic Survival. I'm Know-It-All DM. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great today. Today I am on here on the creative mode again, showing off the rest or some more of my showcase blueprints or of my workshop blueprint things. They're not all in the workshop, but these. So last time I showed you all of my bases. This time we're going to do hover vessels. So we're going to start with the first ones, which, like last time, are the emplacements. Now I have one that's called the artillery emplacement, which was made before the bases were allowed to have artillery, so that's why it's called the emplacement. But it's the tier 1 emplacement, or the hover vessel sized one. I mean, so it's smaller than the other one, but and then the sentries that go along with it, which are these, the laser, plasma, and minigun sentries, which are hover vessels that you can spawn in, and these will automatically attack. This one, I don't think the artillery automatically attacks. It might, but it's a lot easier if you get in here, use the artillery, and if it had power, there we go, and you can just use the artillery. And this thing can shoot quite a ways. Yeah, those are the artillery emplacement and the sentries. Let's see. We've got the camel from my derpy little Arabian Nights thing that you guys may or may not have seen. I don't know if I saved this or not, but like if I saved the original. Anyway, we've got the cargo pod, which is just a simple thing that you can spawn in, which has a whole bunch of different types of cargo boxes, and you can put this in your base on a planet in place of a storage box, and you've got a lot more storage per square inch, or per square. You'll notice a lot of my hover vessels are not very hover vessel-y, but this one you guys may or may not recognize. This is my hover vessel version of the Clampetmobile from the Beverly Hillbillies. Now, it took me a little bit to make this, but I made it, and it's just for laughs. It does work as a hover vessel, and it's a 5-seater hover vessel. So, and it's not, terribly unbalanced or anything. So, it's a nice little hover vessel. It also has everything you could need, from the constructor to the refrigerator and O2 station. It's got a whole lot of cargo boxes all over it. So it's a pretty neat little machine. Yeah, it was meant just for the derps. Next is the drill bike, which you guys recently saw in my the no mining challenge, and I used it to drill up to the base of the drone base and to go in through the bottom. The next I have it's 2 hover vessels, which are meant to be used in unison. You've got the Gatling bike and the Gatling mule, which these 2 work in unison, as one is a turret-based vessel for 2 people, and then you've got a Gatling gun-based vessel for 1 person. The mule has the cargo boxes on it, and this one has a cargo box on it. But they're meant for more just working if you have a 3-person team You take the two out. This guy provides cover while this guy gets up there, and you know, something like that. But I just made those supposed to be for the three-person multiplayer that Captain Adonis, Gublaish, and I are doing, but we never actually used them because, well, hover vessels apart from mining aren't very useful apart from creating little things like this that you can put down. Although they're really cool. Let's see. Then there's Harry. Say hello to Harry the Gatling turret. Hi, Harry. How are you doing? Anyway, and then we've got the hoverboat, which you guys saw in, I don't know if you saw this one or a similar one in the Season 1 multiplayer, but it's actually off-balanced to the front. I'm going to have to redo some of it, make it more balanced towards the back, and probably going to have to put some whatchamacallums, artificial mass cubes back here, although I don't have much room to put them, which will cause a problem. But anyway, next down the hover list is the Hover Mini, which is this little thing which you saw recently in our multiplayer on Masperon. It's a small little vessel just to spawn in and keep on going. You can spawn it at level, what, 3? Yeah, level 3, the minimum level. Next we have the hover tank. Now the hover tank is a artillery tank that I created specifically so you can just, you know, you get in it. If I can actually access it. There we go. You get in it and drive around. It's, you know, not very fast and not very maneuverable, but it's got a massive turret on top. I did it more just for the fun of seeing if I could make a hover tank, which I did. But yeah, that's the hover tank. We've got the FM100 Flying Mule, which is basically a, well, pickup truck with stuff in the back. A open bed pickup truck. And then we've got the MF108 Flying Mule, which is basically the same thing, but with 3 seats instead of 2. And then we've got the MF813 Flying Mule, which you guys may or may not recognize from the Firefly movie, Serenity. It's the mule that they use at the beginning of the movie while trying to do their little bank robbery and then running away from Reapers. And yes, I made all of these myself. If there's one that I did not make myself, I will tell you guys that I didn't make it. This is the Mini Bunker, which is a hover vessel that's got hardened steel all around. It's got 3 different miniguns on it, and you can spawn it in, get in here, shoot out the front while the minigun turrets take care of your enemies. It's a little bit useful. I haven't really used it a lot, but if you're a one person going against things, it's pretty cool. Then we've got the mining turret, which you can spawn this in, and it's got the mining gun, and you just sit here and open up the drill turret, and you can just mine. Now, I originally made this for mining the meteorites that fall, and it doesn't work nearly as well anymore against meteorites. So, but as from what I understand, it still does work on them. Let's see, Mobile Minigun Sentry, which is similar to the Minigun Sentry that I spawned in over there, except for it's got a seat that you can sit in and take it from place to place. Yeah, so it's not just sitting in one place. Let's see. Next on the list, Mobile On-the-Fly Base. This is my on-the-fly base, which I have outfitted with hover emitters. Now, the on-the-fly base has everything you could possibly need, from O2 to food generation to food storage, and it's, of course, got this entire wall of storage with ammo for the turret on top. So you can come in here, power it up, and you can just move it from one place to another. I believe somebody mentioned in the comments of the on-the-fly base that you should make one that can move. Well, I had already made this one, I just hadn't shown it off yet. So, continuing down the list is the basic on-the-fly base. You can spawn it in and do your thing. Let's see. Then, of course, we've got the on-the-fly constructor, and then the on-the-fly constructor with the landing pads that you can use to dock it to a capital vessel. We've got the on-the-fly fridge. We've got the on-the-fly O2 station. And the on-the-fly storage box, which, of course, I made that along with these because it's got 3 storage boxes and, you know, just making it to go along with the whole theme here. I made this before I made that storage cube that you guys saw over there. Next is the small driller, which is... It's a small drilling vessel. I think I made this in the multiplayer season that we're currently in, just for Goo and Captain Adonis to use. Then we've got the speeder bike, which is a Star Wars-esque speeder bike. It's not terribly useful for, you know, pretty much anything because it has no storage. It can get you from one place to another. That's what it's supposed to do, and it can do that rather well. And because it's so light, it picks up speed rather quickly. So that's the speeder bike. And then you've got the Bike H, which is the hover vessel version of my small vessel that I just called the Bike that I used in Season 1. Continuing on, we've got the Bule, we've got the Land Shark, we've got the Bull Shark, and we've got the Terra Mako. And these are the last of the ones that I created. So the Bule is your basic digger. It has no turrets of any kind. You just dig and go. The Bull Shark, let's see, what was it? The Land Shark here has the 2 mining turrets on it, but no additional turrets. The Bull Shark has 2 Gatling guns and 2 up here as well. And the Terra Mako over here is the version that I made. Let's see. This one, I believe, the Terra Mako is combat or is hardened steel, and the Bull Shark is regular steel. That's the difference in these two, which is why the Terra Mako and the Bull Shark have such vastly different quantities. But those are the hover vessels that I've made. Let's continue on to the small vessels, because that didn't take any time at all. Small vessels. Number 1, the Acme Rocket. It's, well, a rocket. Just, I did it for giggles. Then we've got the Alien Fighter, which is powered by an alien core and it's meant to be an alien small vessel for us to fight in space. Not that those exist yet, but, you know. Then we've got the ground beacon here, which is just a beacon. You place it, name it, and that'll tell you where, you know, this location is. I wanted to make it look interesting, so I put a little satellite on top and, you know, like that. Then we've got the space beacon, which is meant to be in outer space. It's got no thrusters on it, so it's just going to float down. But you spawn this in space, power it up, and there you go. You don't really have to power either of these up, but if you do, this little thing spins and the lights come on, and it's really, really cool. But I don't know why my frames are going... I don't know why my frames are going so bad! But let me get away from these. Let me take off That's not what I meant to do. There, let me take that off, and maybe that'll clear my frames up a bit. Next, we've got everybody's favorite bomber, the Bumblebee. The Bumblebee is meant to go along with my Yellow Jacket capital vessel, specifically the Yellow Jacket Dreadnought. The Bumblebee has 2 Gatling guns and a total of 6 whatchamacallit, or 8. Is it 8? Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of rocket launchers. It's got 8 rocket launchers. 2, what is that? 4 of each? 1, 2, yeah. 4 of each type of rocket launcher, which is the most rocket launchers that you can put on it. My brain wasn't thinking very well. Next thing is the Death Ray. You guys saw me make this in Season 2. The Death Ray, already equipped with those. I like this design. It's one of my favorite designs. It doesn't have all the missiles of the Bumblebee, but it's still got the missile launchers, and it's got more cargo on it. The Bumblebee also has back here storage containers, but you could actually equip, say, a constructor and stuff. You could reconfigure the back to whatever you want. After the Death Ray, this was actually created by Canuck, one of the Mahula brothers. I just called it the Dragonfly because it looks like one. But this is Canuck's small vessel that he made using these types of thrusters, which I can't find anymore. I don't think that those shapes aren't used anymore. They used to be called the atmospheric thrusters, and then they were called the thruster longs or whatever, but you can't make them anymore. So this is a unique design that I wanted to save on my own, and for Canuck, if you watch it, it's awesome. Yeah, I figured I would yellowify that and paint it the colors I wanted and turn it into my own thing. Maybe do a little bit of modifications, but all props go to Canuck for making this awesome looking design. Next is the escape pod, which goes along with my you're floating down. Why are you floating down? The escape pod here goes along with my one of my capital vessels that you guys will see next episode. It goes along with the Derelict, which is a massive capital vessel that's equipped with 6 escape pods. Now, it's meant to have this escape pod, which has 5 seats in it, rather than the one with the 1. But this was my first creation of it, and then I upgraded it to this version. And then for the series that I was going to do with the oh, really? You float, but they don't. You're weird. The series that I was going to do with along with the Derelict, I was going to have on the moon, there was going to be somebody living in this little escape pod, so I turned it into a you've got the bed, you've got the seat, you've got, you know, and up here you've got the constructor and the O2 station and the refrigerator. So it was going to be a nice little, you know, storage home, or a escape pod home. Then we've got the flying carpet. The flying carpet is, well, it's the flying carpet. It's from Aladdin. Well, it's supposed to be from Aladdin, but, you know, it's a small vessel, so it has some modifications had to be made for it. Next is the Gatling shuttle, which is, everybody has seen this. This is what I spawned in our multiplayer for Cap, Goo, and I to use. It's got a total of 6 Gatling guns and can tear your enemies to shred in seconds. We've got the Greyhawk, which is this is actually created by Arturus, who created the MS Titan. I loved this design, so I decided to get it and use it along with my fleet of Titan-esque ships that are modifications of the Titan. I also created a Mark II to go along with my Mark II Titan and Titan-esque ship line. This is made out of fully combat steel, whereas this, I think this is just his base one with the standard. It's either his base one with the standard stuff, or yeah, some of them are steel, some of them are whole slopes. So I upgraded the cubes to steel, but I didn't upgrade the slopes and everything. But in any case, this one is made this is completely hardened steel. I actually rebuilt this from the ground up based on his design and repositioned a lot of things, like you've got the fuel tanks in here as opposed to, in various places. And I redesigned a little bit inside the back here. So you've got a lot of storage stuff there and everything, and you can hold a lot more people in these. But the design is based off of that one. Let's see. The GX-102 Gatling is a small little Gatling shuttle thing that I made just for fun. This is my first attempt at making a small Gatling-based shuttle, and then I just went with the Gatling shuttle. Even though this is smaller in silhouette, it doesn't fly nearly as well. Then we've got Harry. Of course, Harry has no thrusters. This is the small vessel version of Harry that you saw earlier. And then, of course, you've got the KIADM shuttle, which I made in Season 1 of our multiplayer and modified into the Gatling shuttle. You've got the LX-23 Highlift, which is basically a small vessel made simply so you can get up, stop moving, get out, and access things in your capital ship or base that are normally inaccessible. It's got the little spotlight so you can, spotlight things. Then we've got the Mantapod, which this actually goes in the Manta, which is a capital vessel. This is a modification of the Minipod, and I will spawn this in when I spawn in the Manta and show you where it goes, but it's basically just a Minipod. And then, of course, we have the Minipod, everybody's favorite small vessel that you can make at level 7 as soon as you can. It's small, it's compact, but it's got cargo boxes, and you can replace them with, other types of things. You could basically modify this to whatever you want, as Goo showed by making the Minipod U. The Minipod U has everything on it. It's the Ultra Minipod that you can do, but it's so heavy, it barely even goes up at all, as opposed to the Minipod itself, which you can just go wham and levitate. So anyway, that's those. Let's continue on to the one-man balloon. The one-man balloon is a small vessel that I created in Season 1 to get around Oscatoon. It's basically a hot air balloon. Yay for hot air balloons. But inside it's got the refrigerator and a constructor. I didn't put an O2 station because I was on Oscatoon, and Oscatoon you don't need the oxygen, so I didn't even worry about that. Next is my line of Pillbug shuttles, starting with the Pillbug, the Poison Bug, the Stink Bug, and continuing on to the Hornet and the Scorpion. These are all the shuttles that are made for the for docking alongside in the Yellow Jacket. You've got the Pillbug here, which has it's basically just a shuttle. It's an unarmed shuttle. Then you've got, let's see, it was the poison bug right here, or was this the stink bug? I don't remember. I think this was the stink bug. Let's see, poison bug. Yeah. Yeah, one of these is the poison bug, the other is the stink bug. This one has lasers and plasma. That's got Gatlings and rockets. Then you've got the Hornet here, which has has Gatlings and rockets on it, and is themed better for the Yellow Jacket. And then you've got the Scorpion, which has railguns, lots and lots of railguns, and a couple of Gatlings. But each of them has their own place in the small vessel community. And then, of course, we've got the railgun rocket here, which I can't spawn it at all. Limited number of bases. Really? Really? Alright, fine. Let me just do this. DI. Okay, that's 65. I'm gonna go ahead and destroy all of these. Okay, so all of them have been destroyed. Yay! Total wipe. So like I was saying, going on to the next one is the Railgun Rocket, which I made in Season 1. It can no longer be spawned because it now has too many railguns, but I'm going to use it real quickly to head west. No, let me head east so that I can get to a area with brighter sun. I'm going to head east because that way I can get through the night faster and get to an area with sun a lot quicker. So I'll BRB. Alright, so I was flying around and the game crashed. So I figured it'd just be quicker to just start a new one here. So let's open up these and get down. It was the Railgun Rocket I had just spawned in. Wait. Small vessels. Railgun Rocket I had just spawned in. This is the Rocket Topper from Season 1 multiplayer, which I used to put on top of the rocket. We called it the Spock. Because the main ship we called the Leo in memory of Leonard Nimoy, and we just called the topper to put on top of it Spock. So that's that. That's the rocket topper. We've got the small escape pod, which you guys saw in Season 1 when I went down to Oskatoon. I used this to get down there with the bare minimum of stuff. Now I could have used it to get back up, but since it only has the thrusters in the back, I would have to steer it, and it's really wonky to steer. So yeah, but that's the small escape pod. We've got the Space Spotlight, which I use in creative mode to use to act as a spotlight in space, so I don't have to continuously turn the ships and the like. I can just spawn this in and have it face whatever I need to light up. Starfighter. This is another Arturis creation. I believe it was Arturis that created this. Yeah, it's got to be. It's the same theme. This is his base Starfighter, which you start with if you start in creative mode in space with no entities. It'll start off with this and a flat platform, and that's it. And then I modified it into this one using the wings, adding the wings onto it, and made the things in the back a little bit thinner. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. The Gatling guns are on the interior instead of the edge of the wings and are on the top up here. But other than that, it's basically the same design. So props to Arturis for those. Then we've got the steered missile, which is my first attempt at the Acme rocket. It's black instead of red, but in any case, it's basically the same thing. Then we've got the Stinger. The Stinger is a small vessel that I created to act alongside the Yellow Jacket Dreadnought. You can fit like 30 of these inside of the Yellow Jacket. So, you can, if you had that many players, you could just launch these one after another. They're not terribly, durable, but I mean, yeah, they fire really quickly with these laser turrets, and yeah, it's really cool. Which, by the way, lasers now, the pulse lasers fire a lot faster, but they do a little bit less damage per second than the Gatling guns, just a little bit less. Wait. Is that gold ore? Okay, I don't remember seeing that here, but, whatever. Let me get some lasers real quick. Alright, small vessel lasers. And we'll just put one of these in here, one of these in here. See, they fire a lot faster than the Gatling guns. which is also a lot faster than they used to. But yeah, they don't do nearly as much damage as a Gatling gun. Well, they do slightly less. These do 7 per shot and fire twice as fast as a Gatling gun. The Gatling gun does 15 per shot. So, you know, it's 1 per 2 shot. Anyway, it's just a little bit less. Anyway, continuing on, we've got the bike, which I showed you the hover vessel version. Here's the small vessel version. And there it goes. The bike is really useful for getting around and everything. Then we've got the shuttle. This is my first small vessel that I created in Season 1. I use it almost all the time to get around from one place to another. It was my best companion. Inside of the shuttle, of course, was all this cool stuff here. You've got, you know, cargo boxes, you've got the constructor, the fridges and that. Then in here you've got the seats and everything. It was a nice thing, but I went ahead and updated it to the Shuttle Mark II, which is basically the same thing, just a little bit more sleek in design, a little bit, you know, differently colored, but I should... No, I wouldn't be able to do that here. With the new glass things, they don't yet have one that goes from curved to slanted. I don't think. But anyway, that's basically the Shuttle Mark II. Then we've got what I called the Trans Shuttle, which everybody will recognize this as the... what did I call this? I don't even remember what I named it. But this is the shuttle that I made in Season 2 and used it to get from one place to another. Then we've got the tripod, which is basically the hover vessel, or the small vessel that we used in Season 2 of the multiplayer before we restarted on Omicron. This is when we took over the temple, the Talon Guardian temple, and we used this to get around all over the place before we each had our own vessels and everything. It was pretty cool. Then you've got the Worker Bee, which I don't remember whose this was. It was either Canucks or Topons, and I don't remember. I'm sure they'll comment in the comments section, but it uses this cockpit, which is no longer actually able to be used, because if you look, it is cockpit... they call it cockpit 8, which in the small vessels you can get cockpit 1, 3, 2, 4, 9, and 5, but you can't get 6, 7, and 8 anymore. So I don't know, you know, why not, but it's a pretty cool design little Worker Bee thing. But that's from someone on the Mahooler server. I don't know who created it originally or anything, but it's pretty cool. It's after modifying it so it doesn't use any Sathium. Then we've got everybody's favorite fighter, the Wasp. The Wasp is my current favorite ship to use. I use it all the time in the multiplayer game, and you saw it most recently helping take out the alien outpost. Of course, that was with the Vesper version of it right here, which has the better maneuverability due to its extra thruster power, because this thing got blown up twice. And then I made this one, which has held up pretty well. Of course, this is regular steel, and this is all hardened steel, so... But that is going to be it for this episode. Those are my small vessels and my hover vessels that I have in my blueprints. If you guys want to see more Empyrion Galactic Survival, well, if you liked what you saw, hit that like button for me. And if you want to see more Empyrion Galactic Survival, go ahead and subscribe. Next episode, I will be showcasing off all of my capital vessels, which capital vessels are quite probably my favorite ones. So get ready for a good explanation of each of my capital vessels when you see them. So, in any case, that's going to be it for today. If you guys liked it, hit the like button, subscribe. I already said all that. But anyway, y'all have a good day now.